This video is on Vertex, finding a maximum or minimum. So in a previous video, I explained how to find the vertex by hand using x equals negative b divided by 2a. This video, I'm going to explain how to find the vertex using the calculator. So in the calculator, so this using a TI-84 or 83 calculator, I'm going to enter the equation into the y equals in the calculator. We are then going to hit the button that says graph to see if you can see the vertex. Because if you can't find the vertex if you can't see it. We'll adjust the zoom if necessary. So the normal zoom that most of the time you'll see, it'll be zoom 6, which is your standard window. The standard window gives you a 10 by 10 scale, so 10 on the positive x, 10 on the negative x, 10 on the positive y, 10 on the negative y. That's the standard window. However, if you cannot see your information, you'll hit zoom 0 first, which is zoom fit. It'll change your window to be able to fit as much of the graph as you can, but then you still might not be able to see the exact vertex, so you will then hit zoom 3, which is zoom out. But when you go to zoom 3, you have to press the enter button after you hit the number 3. So you'll hit 3, you actually press the number 3, and then you'll have to press the enter because it allows you to zoom out from different places, and it's asking you where do you want to zoom out from. So once you can see your vertex, then we can actually find it. So to continue with this, once we see our vertex, you'll hit second trace. So the second button, and then you'll hit the trace button, which you're actually trying to do is calculate self. You're calculating the vertex. Once we get into a new menu, you will choose whether or not it is a maximum or a minimum. You'll be able to choose one of these. Once you've chosen it, your screen will pop up and it will say left bound with a question mark. What you want to do is you're going to move your left cursor and you're going to go onto the left side of your vertex and you're going to press enter. Because what will happen is your little cursor will be moving along here. You'll go to the left and you'll literally press the left cursor until you get to the left of the vertex and you press enter. That's the left side. And it'll pop up with a little arrow on here. But once you've done that, your calculator will then say right bound with a question mark. So you'll actually go to the right side of your vertex. So go on the right side. You'll press the right cursor. And once you're on the right-hand side of your vertex, then you'll press enter again. So then you'll have a little cursor over here. You'll have a little arrow over here. But then your calculator will say guess with a question mark. We don't actually care about trying to guess, so who cares? Just press enter and it'll give you your actual vertex. So I'm going to show you how this works on a calculator. So I have a TI-83 calculator right here. I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to type in the equation. Let's go with 2x squared plus 14x plus 24. I'm just doing a random equation. I'm going to hit the graph button right here. We're going to see if I can see my vertex. So here would be the vertex. We can see it perfectly fine. This right now is in a standard window because I have 10 on the left, 10 on the right, 10 up, and 10 down. So this is already a standard window. I do not have to press zoom 0 or zoom 3 because I can see my vertex. So once we can see it, we're going to hit the second button, which is this button right here, second. And this little arrow pops up because it's almost like a shift button. Then I want to hit the trace button, which is all of your graphing information is up here. I want the trace. But second was yellow, and that's why I'm pressing this one, because I want to calculate. The calc is yellow. That's why I'm pressing trace, because I'm calculating something. My graph was opening up, so I'm going to have a minimum value. So I want to go down to number 3. I'm choosing minimum. So now it says left bound. I want to find where my cursor is. It's at 0, 24, so it's way up here. I want to press my left cursor until I get to the left side of my vertex. I'm going to keep pressing my left cursor, and you see how the numbers are starting to change. The Y value is coming down, and now we can actually see the cursor moving. So I'm going to move this until I get to the left side. I am now on the left side of the graph. I want to press enter. My cursor is still there. I have a little arrow up here, but now my calculator says right bound. So now I'm going to take my right arrow key, and I want to go to the right side of the graph. So I'm going to move my cursor to the right side of the vertex. Now that I'm over here, I don't have to go super far away. As long as I'm on the right, I can press enter. But again, now my calculator says guess. I don't care about trying to guess, so I'm going to just press enter again. We're going to get our vertex. It says that the minimum, because that's what we said it was going to be, is at -3.5, -0.5. So I would say that my vertex, I would write this out as -3.5 and then comma -0.5. And that would be our vertex. So I want to show examples. Use the 3 equations above and find the vertex using the calculator. I did a video on how to find vertices by hand. So let's find these vertices using the calculator instead. So we're going to go to y equals. We're going to clear this. We're going to type in 3x squared minus 12x plus 2. We're going to press graph. We can see the vertex, so we do not need to zoom out. It's low down here, but we can still see it. So we're going to press second, trace, or calculate. This one had a minimum because it has a positive a value, so I'm going to go down to number 3. I want to be on the left side of my vertex. My vertex is down here. My cursor is already on the left, so it's at 0, 2. My cursor is already on the left, so I can press enter now. Now it says right bound. I need to make my cursor go to the right-hand side. So I'm going to hold my cursor down until it gets to the right-hand side. I want to be able to see it so I know for a fact it's on the right. It is on the right, so I can press enter. And then it says guess. I'm just going to press enter again. Our vertex is at, it says 1.999987. That's at 2. And our y value is at -10. So our vertex is at 2, -10. And this is the same vertex, if we were to find it by hand, that we found in the calculator. This was the same as by hand. As using the x equals -b/2a and then plugging that in to find the y. On our next one, we're going to type in x squared minus 4x. So I'm going to go to y equals. I'm going to clear this. I'm going to type in the x, and this is the squared button right here because I don't have to do my little caret key. You can. X raised to the second power does the same thing as x squared. Minus, not negative, but minus 4x. I'm going to press the graph. And again, we can see our vertex. So we don't have to zoom. So we're going to go to second, trace, which is calculate. This one was a minimum, so I'm just going to press the number 3, and it goes to left bound. My cursor is already on the left side of my vertex, so I can press enter. Then I'll move my arrow to the right-hand side until it's on the right side of the vertex. I could have stopped earlier, but I want to make sure it's on the right, so I'll press enter. And I don't care about trying to guess, so I'm going to press enter again. It says that the vertex is at 2.000016. That's really at 2. And our y is at -4. So that is the same as what it is by hand. 2, -4 is the same as by hand. So we're doing this correctly. So question 3 has 16 minus x squared. So y equals, and I'm going to type this in as it says. I'm not going to rearrange it. I'm going to type in 16 minus x squared. But I'm going to show you if we had retyped it. I cannot put, because we can restate this as negative x squared plus 16. I cannot write minus x squared. This minus and negative are two different things. I would need to type the negative if I write my x squared first. Negative x squared. There are two different pieces of this. So we have a negative sign and a minus sign. These are two different pieces. Negative is if you have a coefficient of negative. Minus is if you are subtracting. I'm going to graph. And this time we cannot see our vertex because it's all the way up here somewhere. So now is when I would go to zoom. And we're going to go to zoom fit. So I'm going to go to find zoom fit, which is right here. It says 0. So I'm going to press enter. Now I can kind of see the vertex. It's here, but maybe I'll zoom out. So I'll press zoom. Now I want out. So that's 3. But now, do you notice it didn't move? Because I have to let the calculator know where do I want it to zoom out from. It's kind of like moving your mouse and being able to zoom in and out at a specific location. My cursor's here, so it's going to zoom out from this being the center. So I'll press enter, and it zooms out. Now we can actually see that the vertex is in here somewhere. So now we'll be able to find our cursor. So we'll do second trace, and this one was pointing down. We had a negative x squared. This one had a maximum. I'm going to press the number 4. So left bound, our cursor is blinking right here. We're going to press the left arrow key until it's definitely on the left side. It's definitely on the left side of our vertex. So we're going to press enter. Now we're going to move the arrow to the right, the cursor to the right hand side. So hold the right arrow key down. And just make sure it's definitely on the right hand side. We're going to press enter. And then we're going to press enter on guess, so we're not trying to figure it out. Now, this value looks really weird. What you need to notice here is that it says negative 1.08 e negative 6. This e is scientific notation saying that there are 6 zeros in the front of all this, or it moves the decimal 6 places to the left because it's negative 6. So if I were to write this, I'm going to put we had negative 1.08, negative 1.08 e negative 6 really means, so we move this decimal 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it went to here, and then we have to add a 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, 0 here, and 0 here. So this really means negative 0.000000108. So if we were to round this, if we were just round to the nearest hundredth, that'd be negative 0, which is just 0. So this really just equals to 0. That x value is actually at 0, and the y value is at 16. So our vertex was at 0, 16. Therefore, this is the same answer as what we had by hand. Now, using a TI-83 or 84 calculator, you have to remember steps to do this. If you were to use Desmos to find the vertex, you would plug the equation in as it is, just like we did here, and you would click on the actual vertex. So zoom, I'm going to go to zoom standard. I would be able to move this screen down on Desmos, and I would physically click my mouse on the vertex, and it would give me the exact coordinate. So sometimes Desmos is going to be a little bit easier to use here, but if you don't have access to Desmos, if you only have a graphing calculator, these were the steps for the graphing calculator.